My beloved child. Do not rush away. Before your finger moves, before your eyes wander to another video, remain here for just a little longer. There is a reason this message found you today. There is a reason your heart feels strangely restless, as though it has been waiting for words it could not explain. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Tonight's story is not an ordinary story. It is a fictional spiritual narration, told as though heaven itself were unfolding a mystery before your eyes. Listen with your heart, because every moment will lead to another revelation, and every revelation will make the next one impossible to ignore. Somewhere, not very long ago, a family gathered around a table. It looked like an ordinary evening. The lights were warm. The cups of tea slowly released gentle steam. Someone quietly closed the front door. Another person looked around the room before speaking. Nobody realized that the conversation they were about to have would completely change the direction of several lives. One name filled the silence. Your name. Not spoken with anger. Not spoken with laughter. Spoken with curiosity. Spoken with emotion. Spoken because nobody in that room could stop thinking about you. Don't skip. Every second matters. Something huge is waiting for you. As heaven watches every heart, there are moments when unseen paths begin crossing before anyone on earth notices. This was one of those moments. Your soulmate had no idea that while they were busy carrying the weight of their own emotions, members of their family had already begun asking questions. Why do they keep thinking about this person? What makes them different? Why can't they move on? Those questions did not disappear. Instead, they became the beginning of something much bigger. Archangel Michael watched quietly. Not because he wished to interfere, but because certain conversations reveal what hearts have been hiding for a very long time. Imagine standing outside that house. The windows glow softly against the evening sky. Inside, voices rise. Then soften. Someone sighs deeply. Someone else folds their hands together. The oldest member of the family finally speaks. Maybe we've misunderstood everything. Silence. Complete silence. The room freezes. Your soulmate lowers their eyes. No one interrupts. No one laughs. Because everyone knows those words carry weight. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. What nobody realized was that this conversation had actually started days earlier. Little moments. Tiny observations. Simple questions. Each one collecting like drops of rain before a storm. One family member remembered how differently your soulmate smiled whenever your name appeared. Another remembered the unusual calm that came over them whenever they spoke about you. Someone quietly admitted they had never seen them speak about anyone else with the same sincerity. The pieces slowly formed a picture. A picture nobody expected. Sometimes heaven does not reveal answers through miracles. Sometimes it reveals them through conversations people never intended to have. That evening became one of those moments. Your soulmate remained unusually quiet. Normally they would defend themselves. Normally they would change the subject. But this time, they simply listened. Because deep inside, they knew something important was happening. Archangel Michael says there are moments when silence speaks louder than hundreds of words. This was one of those moments. A younger relative suddenly asked, "If this person truly means so much, why have we never tried to understand them?" The room became still once again. One question. Yet nobody had an immediate answer. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The conversation slowly shifted. No longer about problems. No longer about doubts. Instead, everyone began sharing memories. One remembered seeing happiness return after a difficult season. Another remembered hope replacing disappointment. Someone quietly admitted, "I haven't seen them this peaceful in years." Nobody expected those words. Least of all your soulmate. For a moment they looked up. Not because they wanted attention. Because they suddenly realized something. Perhaps they had never been carrying this journey alone. Perhaps people had been watching. Watching quietly. Watching carefully. Watching their heart heal one small step at a time. Heaven often works in quiet places. Not where crowds gather. Not where applause is loudest. But where honest hearts finally tell the truth. The family continued talking. One person asked, "What if we've judged too quickly?" Another answered, "Then maybe it's time we see things differently." Those words echoed through the room. Not loudly, but deeply. Very deeply. Your soulmate felt every syllable. Because for the first time, the people around them were no longer questioning whether you mattered. They were beginning to ask how much you mattered. That changed everything. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Outside, the night grew darker. Inside, understanding slowly grew brighter. One by one, walls came down. Old assumptions disappeared. Someone admitted they had formed opinions without ever knowing the full story. Another confessed they had mistaken silence for weakness. Another realized they had confused patience with uncertainty. Piece after piece. The truth emerged. Not suddenly, but gently. Like sunrise replacing darkness. Archangel Michael watched quietly because heaven delights whenever misunderstanding gives way to compassion. The conversation became deeply personal. Your soulmate finally spoke. Only a few words. "I never stopped believing there was something special." Nobody interrupted. Nobody laughed. Instead, several faces softened. One family member smiled for the first time all evening. Another nodded slowly. As though many hidden questions had finally received their answer. The atmosphere completely changed. It no longer felt like a discussion. It felt like a turning point. A moment nobody would ever forget. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. Then came the unexpected moment. The oldest voice in the room quietly said, "If this person has brought hope where there was once sadness, perhaps we've been looking in the wrong direction all along." No one answered immediately. Because everyone was thinking exactly the same thing. Could they have misunderstood you? Could everything they believed actually be incomplete? Could heaven have been leading this story somewhere none of them had imagined? Those questions remained hanging in the air. Your soulmate's heart beat faster. Not from fear. From hope. Hope that perhaps, just perhaps, everything was beginning to change. And what happened next would surprise every single person in that room. But that revelation belongs to the next part. The silence in that room became almost impossible to ignore. No one reached for their cup. No one looked at their phone. Even the smallest sound seemed to disappear, as though time itself had paused to witness what was about to happen. If you have stayed this far, don't skip now. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the next few moments will reveal why this conversation could never end the way anyone expected. The oldest member of the family slowly leaned forward, their expression no longer filled with uncertainty but with quiet conviction. They looked directly at your soulmate and asked a question no one in the room had been brave enough to ask before. If this person means so much to you, why have you hidden your heart from us for so long? Your soulmate lowered their eyes for a brief moment. Not because they felt ashamed. Because emotions they had carefully buried for so long suddenly became impossible to control. The room remained perfectly still. Finally, they spoke. I was afraid you would never understand. Those simple words carried more weight than anyone expected. One family member quietly wiped away a tear. Another looked down, realizing they had judged the situation without ever knowing the full story. Archangel Michael watched as compassion quietly replaced assumption. Sometimes hearts do not change through arguments. They change when truth is spoken with sincerity. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. A younger relative broke the silence. I thought this was just another passing feeling. Another answered softly. So did I. But now I can see this is different. The conversation shifted once again. Instead of asking why your soulmate cared about you, they began talking about what kind of future might be possible. Your soulmate looked genuinely surprised. They had prepared themselves for rejection. Instead, they were witnessing understanding. One by one, family members began sharing things they had quietly noticed over the past months. I've never seen you speak about anyone with this much respect. You smile differently. You've become more patient. You're happier whenever this person is mentioned. Each sentence became another piece of a puzzle that had been hidden in plain sight. The atmosphere no longer felt tense. It felt hopeful. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then something unexpected happened. One relative quietly disappeared into another room. Nobody understood why. Several minutes later they returned carrying a small photo album. They opened it carefully. Inside were family photographs taken during important celebrations over many years. As they turned each page, they stopped on an empty space where another family picture would one day be placed. Smiling gently, they said, "Our family has always believed every chapter arrives at the right time." The room fell silent once more. Nobody laughed. Nobody dismissed the comment. Instead, several people exchanged knowing smiles. For the first time, the possibility of your place in their future no longer felt impossible. It felt imaginable. Archangel Michael reminds you that hope often begins quietly. It does not arrive with loud announcements. It begins when hearts become willing to see beyond fear. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Just when everyone believed the evening was coming to an end, another family member revealed something they had kept secret. "I've been watching from a distance," they admitted. "I wanted to understand this person before saying anything. Every eye turned toward them." They continued. "Everything I discovered pointed toward kindness, patience and sincerity." Those words completely changed the atmosphere. Even the relatives who had remained uncertain began reconsidering everything they believed. Your soulmate looked overwhelmed. Not because everything had suddenly become perfect, but because they realized they were no longer standing alone. The people they feared most were slowly becoming the people who understood them best. Then came the moment no one expected. The oldest member of the family stood up. Everyone instinctively became quiet. Looking around the room, they said with calm confidence, "I think we've reached our decision." Every heartbeat seemed louder than before. Your soulmate held their breath. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. The answer that followed would become the turning point of the entire evening. And it would change the direction of this story in a way no one saw coming. But that decision, and the surprising reason behind it, belongs in part 3. For a few unforgettable seconds, the room became completely still. Every face turned toward the oldest member of the family. Your soulmate could hear nothing except the sound of their own heartbeat. It felt as though the entire evening had been leading to this exact moment. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. With calm eyes and a gentle voice, the elder finally spoke. We have talked long enough. A brief pause followed. Now it is time to make a decision. No one interrupted. The atmosphere felt different now, not filled with tension, but with expectation. Your soulmate silently wondered what those words would mean. Would everything fall apart? Or would everything finally begin to come together? Then came the answer. We don't want fear making this choice anymore. The sentence echoed through the room. One relative slowly nodded. Another quietly smiled. Someone whispered, "That is exactly what I was hoping you would say." Your soulmate looked around in disbelief. The conversation had transformed completely. Only an hour earlier, uncertainty had filled every corner of the room. Now, hope was beginning to replace it. Archangel Michael reminds us that sometimes the greatest miracles are not loud. They happen when hearts decide to choose understanding instead of assumption. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. One family member stood and walked to the window. Looking out into the quiet night, they said, "I've been thinking about this for weeks." Everyone listened carefully. I kept asking myself why this person's name always returned to our conversations. They turned back toward the family. Maybe it wasn't by accident. No one argued. Instead, another voice softly added, "I've noticed something too. Whenever they speak about this person, they become more hopeful. They dream again. They laugh again. They believe again." Those words touched every heart in the room. Even those who had once been doubtful could no longer ignore what had become so obvious. Your soulmate's eyes filled with emotion. For the first time, they realized they no longer needed to defend what they felt. The people around them had begun to see it for themselves. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then, without warning, one of the younger relatives reached into a drawer and pulled out a folded piece of paper. I wasn't sure whether I should show this. Curiosity spread across the room. What is it? They unfolded the page. It isn't a letter. It isn't a message. It's simply a list. Everyone looked confused. A list of moments. The relative smiled gently. Every time I saw our family member become genuinely happy because of this person. I wrote down the date. The room fell silent again. No one expected that. The paper contained dozens of dates. Dozens of ordinary days that had quietly become extraordinary. One after another, they read them aloud. The day they smiled after weeks of sadness. The day they spoke with hope again. The day they finally believed tomorrow could be better. Every memory pointed toward the same person. You. Nobody could dismiss it anymore. Archangel Michael says that truth has a quiet way of revealing itself. Even when no one is searching for it, it patiently waits until every heart is ready to recognize it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The eldest family member carefully folded the paper and placed it back on the table. They looked directly at your soulmate. You've spent so much time worrying about whether we would accept your feelings. Another pause. But we never realized how much those feelings had already changed you. Tears quietly appeared in more than one pair of eyes. No one felt embarrassed. No one tried to hide their emotions. Because everyone sensed they were witnessing something important. Then another surprising suggestion was made. What if? The room immediately became attentive. What if we stop talking about possibilities? And start preparing for the future instead? The words landed like a gentle sunrise after a long night. Several family members exchanged amazed glances. Your soulmate could hardly believe what they had just heard. The conversation was no longer about whether you belonged in their story. It had become a discussion about how they could welcome the next chapter with open hearts. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Just when everyone thought the evening had reached its most emotional moment, a phone resting quietly on the table suddenly lit up. No ringtone. No loud interruption. Just a single notification. Everyone instinctively looked toward the screen. Your soulmate picked it up. Their expression changed instantly. First surprise. Then silence. Then a smile unlike any the family had seen before. Someone couldn't help asking. What happened? Your soulmate looked up slowly. I wasn't expecting this. The room leaned in, eager to hear the answer. Whatever had just appeared on that screen seemed to confirm everything the family had spent the evening discussing. And as the quiet excitement spread through the room, everyone realized the story was far from over. What appeared in that unexpected message, and why it left the entire family smiling, will be revealed in Part 4. The glow from the phone illuminated your soulmate's face for only a few seconds, but in those few seconds, everyone in the room noticed the same thing. The worry that had lived in their eyes all evening was gone. In its place was quiet hope. No one rushed them. No one demanded to see the screen. They simply waited. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Finally, your soulmate took a slow breath. I never thought this would happen tonight. Curiosity filled the room. What is it? Someone asked softly. Your soulmate smiled. It's not a dramatic message. It's not shocking. But somehow, it feels like the answer we've all been waiting for. Everyone leaned forward. The message was simple. It reminded your soulmate of something they had almost forgotten, that genuine connections are built through patience, honesty and courage, not through fear or rushing the future. The words settled over the room like gentle rain. No one spoke for several moments. Then the eldest family member quietly nodded. Perhaps this is exactly the reminder we needed. Archangel Michael says that sometimes the smallest words arrive at the perfect moment, carrying more peace than the loudest announcement ever could. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The conversation continued, but it had completely changed. Instead of asking questions about the past, they began imagining tomorrow. What kind of person brings this much peace into someone's life? One relative answered before anyone else could. The kind of person worth knowing. Another smiled. The kind of person worth welcoming. Those simple responses carried enormous meaning. Your soulmate listened carefully, hardly believing what they were hearing. Only hours earlier, they had feared this conversation. Now it felt as though invisible walls had quietly disappeared. One family member laughed gently. You know something? We've spent so much time wondering who this person is. That maybe it's finally time we stop imagining and start learning. Several others immediately agreed. For the first time, nobody spoke from assumption. They spoke from openness. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then the oldest member of the family stood once more. Every conversation came to a natural pause. They looked around the room with calm eyes before saying, tonight wasn't really about making a decision. Everyone looked surprised. It was about changing our hearts. The room became silent again. Because when hearts change, the right decisions become much easier. No one argued. No one questioned those words. Everyone understood exactly what they meant. Your soulmate quietly smiled, feeling a burden lift that they had carried for far too long. Archangel Michael reminds you that understanding often begins long before anyone says the words aloud. Hearts are prepared in silence before they speak in confidence. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As the evening came to an end, the family slowly gathered their things. The cups were cleared from the table. The lights grew softer. But before anyone walked away, one relative turned back and said something no one expected. I hope one day we'll all laugh together about how nervous we were tonight. Warm smiles appeared across the room. Not because every question had already been answered, but because hope had replaced uncertainty. Your soulmate looked toward the window, where the first light of dawn was beginning to color the sky. For the first time in a long while, the future no longer felt distant. It felt possible. And somewhere beyond what anyone in that house could see, Archangel Michael watched over the journey with quiet reassurance, reminding every heart that kindness, patience and truth have a way of bringing people together at the right time. If this fictional story touched your heart, remember its message. Never let fear speak louder than honesty. Never let assumptions become stronger than understanding. And never lose hope when sincere hearts are still finding their way toward one another. Stay encouraged. Stay hopeful. Because sometimes the most surprising decision is not made in a single moment, it is made one changed heart at a time.